Hello future investors and welcome back to another weekly episode. Now today we're going to be talking about gold and specifically whether you are gold rich and what are the top percentages of gold investors. Now the reason I want to talk about this today is because gold's price point per ounce in the United Kingdom's pound is currently sitting at £2,886 per ounce. I mean, that's an incredible amount. And in dollars, well, it's nearly $4,000, $3,887. So nearly 1,000 more than it is in pound. Absolutely insane. And this has got me thinking, am I in the top percent? Are you in the top percent? Well, let's have a look. Okay, so gold's all-time high right now has got me thinking, how much should you own? Experts recommend, and that's not me, they recommend in your portfolio, if you have £100,000, you should have £10,000 in gold bullion. Now experts say that you should have probably 5 to 20% of gold in your portfolio, and I think that's fair. I think I would rather be at that upper end of the percentage because I think that gold is the best wealth preservation device, and if my other investment vehicles fail, then I feel like I can rely on gold to cover me. But what holding would put you at the top? Well, Credit Suisse estimate that 47.8% of the entire world's wealth is in the hands of 1.2% of the population. Now, having said that, I do believe, having seen the breakthrough and the publicity that gold has had in the last 5 years, from 2020 to 2025, I think that those statistics probably are up for updating soon. I think that people are becoming more wise to the benefits of investing in tangible precious metal bullion such as gold and silver. Now, to these facts, there are 7.94 billion people on Earth right now. And of course, that's ever increasing. Now, with the current amount of gold available, this means that the average person could theoretically have 0.84 of an ounce of gold per person. So there's definitely enough to go round. Yet why does that mean there's only a very small percentage of us that are aware of gold bullion as a tangible investment? Well, generically, I think it's known as a very old and historical investment vehicle. These days, people want to get rich quick. They don't want to play the long-term game. People want to play high-risk games in a shorter period of time, and that's just not what investing in gold bullion is about. And I think that with social media, there are more pushes on people to invest in courses, to look at learning new investments that can generate money and capital quicker. And gold, that isn't the case. Gold's a long-term investment. We know it's a hedge against inflation. We know it's a wealth preservation device. And with the current way the United Kingdom is going right now, inflation, value of the pound, the buying power of it is getting weaker day by day. I think that gold is becoming more forefront of our minds, especially as current investors who already invest in tangible bullion. I think it's just reinforcing the fact that not only do I own gold, I need to own more. So, talking about buying more, how much would you need to put into your portfolio to be in the top 1%? Well, that would be 168 ounces of gold, specifically around 5 kilograms. Is that too much? Well, put it this way. In the year 2000 to 2020, 20 years, gold had an increase of 583%. That's an average yield of 9%. 6% if you're accounting for inflation. Now, I know some of you will be saying, yeah, well, that's very well, but gold is too expensive right now. Why should I buy it at an all-time high? Well, I honestly believe, and I'm no financial advisor, but I do believe that today's highs are tomorrow's lows. I am a big believer that it's better to have time in the market rather than trying to time the market. So although gold is super costly right now, it may be better to have some than none. And at the end of the day, isn't it better to plant a tree today for it to fruit 20 years later than to never plant it at all. Of course, you could look at other investment vehicles. We've got Bitcoin, and I know a few people that have had good returns on Bitcoin. People are looking at investing in buy-to-let properties, rental income, index funds. They're all great investments. But personally, I think it's best to be diversified. And when it comes to gold, there's no better investment vehicle to have in your portfolio to cover yourself for those rainy days. It's the best hedge against inflation, it's a safe investment, and it's just a really, really good investment vehicle to have. Now, gold's obviously super expensive right now, so can you do it? Can you really save the amount to buy some gold bullion? Well, of course, it's going to take a long time. To purchase an ounce of gold right now, you're looking at around 2.7 to 2.8 thousand pound. A quarter ounce gold Britannia is going to set you back well over £700. It's a lot of money, but of course you can do it. The difficulty isn't the saving, it's the being consistent. And what gets you in the way? Well, lifestyle inflation. That's how it eliminates these people from being in the top percentage of gold investors. So how can you get round it? Well, my top tip would be to set up and make an account specifically named to that specific precious metal you're trying to buy. For example, 1 ounce gold fund, quarter ounce gold fund. There's many ways round it, but if you actually set up an account to specifically put funds just for that money in there, that's going to help you build your gold portfolio, and that's going to help bring you into that upper percentage of gold holders. I really do think it's important, and I think, to be honest, if you're not investing in gold bullion in this current climate, it's probably quite a naive move. I mean, why is gold so important? Well, in 20 years, it's had over 944% an increase in value. I mean, that's a long-term growth, but with fantastic returns. It's a number one hedge against inflation. You own it. It's tangible. And if you buy capital gains tax exempt pieces like Britannias and sovereigns, then you don't have to pay a single penny on your profits. So with all these benefits and pros, why is there still a stigma with gold? Well, like I said earlier, it's known as an old man's investment. But no, I don't think it is that way anymore. I think that is becoming more mainstream. You can buy and trade stocks on the stock market now, and I think that slowly but surely it's starting to lose a little bit of that stigma. I mean, its ROI is brilliant considering it's very little risk, and unlike other investment vehicles, you don't need to adjust your gold portfolio. It just works. It's boring, but it works. And usually it's slow and steady that wins the race. And what happens if there is a crash in the market? Well, we know that gold generically performs very well when there's economic instability in the market. And, you could have loads of money in index funds like the S&P 500. Yes, that's produced an average 10% return over the last 100 years, but it has had major crash points. And when those specific stocks and investment vehicles crash, gold is what you want to have in your portfolio. So, although you may not be in the top percentage of gold holders owning an incredible amount of over 168 ounces of gold, I think that there is definitely something to be said for owning some rather than none. I think that gold is a fantastic hedge. I think that it's an exciting investment vehicle. And with the current geopolitical environment, not only in the UK, but around the globe, I think that it's wise, and I think that you'll be missing out if you don't stomach it and make that purchase now. Whether it's a 1 gram gold bar, 5 gram gold bar, quarter ounce gold Britannia, or even some of the big boys like 1 ounce gold coins. I think that in the long term, you'll be very, very pleased you did invest in that. So overall, that's been my video on what makes you gold rich, and if you're in the top percentage of gold investors. Obviously, most of us aren't, but with consistent and compounding of stacking, I think that you can get into a very good financial place to secure your future down the line. Thank you very much for watching. Make sure you let me know in the comments section below if you've enjoyed this video, and if you haven't subscribed to Future Investments, consider smashing that subscription button, because I do bang out consistent content that's all about finance, saving and stacking. Thank you very much for watching, and I look forward to seeing all of you in the very next episode. Bye bye.